so I'm going to stream a little bit more. I had the opportunity to. So I'm gonna. Oh! No. I forgot I'm already in the game. Phones are tracked and found in garbage disposal. CCTV footage turns up, corrupted or deleted or looped. Then the bodies are found, peeled, sliced, ripped apart, the mutilated remains of what was once a human being. What if one of those bodies, one of those victims, someone who gave terrible, rendering screams that only went unheard, was Rui? Waking up in a cold dark, greeted by a pale, croaking voice, seeing nothing but the sheen of a blade in the moonlight, something that saws through flesh. I force a shaky breath into my lungs as my chest constricts. The world pulses. Rui is the next victim. An afternoon disappearance, another break in the pattern. One more shaky breath, my vision spins. Rui is with the killer, with someone whose mask is perfect, who disappears without a trace, who eludes the police without effort, like everything is just a game. Someone who isn't caught by an army of highly trained officers of law enforcement. Someone whom I could never dream of catching. Rui is going to die, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just a 17-year-old kid hiding in the subway like a homeless beggar, a refugee from police custody. Rui's smile, her teasing, her nagging, gone, just like that. Another figure who entered my life, only to leave me, violently ripped away before her time. Another person who deserved to live so much longer. Pull yourself together. Oh, really? Moping around doesn't help anyone. If you want to be useful, then be useful. Lizzie. Figures I'd see you. You like to challenge me. Guess this time wouldn't be any different. So, things aren't hopeless? What amazing advice do you have for me? This comes almost mockingly. A crushing weight has filled the space that was once empty and shock. I have nothing left but sarcasm and cynicism. In response, Elizabeth's image flickers into Mr. Ryuta. There's still a key that you have to remember about Haru's case. A key? Recall it. How did you stumble on the killer in the first place? Haru sent me a location ping. It's only after the sentence spills out with too much ease that I realize its irregularity. Haru sent me a location ping? Not even close. Not only that, but there was barely any time between the location ping and his death. So somehow, in his last moments just before he died, he decided to send a location ping to me. I fervently rack my brain for an answer. Someone set you up. Would Haru really do that? Would he really put the fate of his life on me? I scan through the flowcharts of known ways people socialize in my head, but it turns up blank. My brain is freezing. I can't see beyond the mental image of a stumbling on Rui's body, cold and bloody, mouth open, and the last remnants of a scream. No hard location ping. Why'd he send it? I would. Blood, terror, the crushing force of water. No stop, must think. I force all the habits from excessive therapy sessions into practice. Deep breaths, tall spine, sense all muscles, and relax slowly from top to bottom. Her life is at stake. Rui could die any minute. Maybe she already has. Or maybe she's cramped up in whatever sick place this cycle has, waiting and dreading the moment when nothing will be on her mind but excruciating pain. Damn it. Miss Ryuta bleeds into Elizabeth. Flickers for a moment, then bleeds into Mizaki. Yama? I can't do this anymore, Miki, please. Just leave me alone. I know this is hard, but right now, you're the one with the best chance of finding the killer. Because of this damn phone? You know what? Fine. I can't handle this on my own. I'm giving it to the police. Won't they just arrest you? Yeah, but they'll find out that I'm not the real killer. But they have to trust your word that someone else put the phone in your apartment, rather than you taking it from Haru himself. It could take days, maybe weeks, to clear the situation, even if you are eventually found innocent. Maybe by that time Rui would be dead. Miki, please help me. He's like hallucinating. Ruri, don't you love Ruri? She needs us. In that case, do you remember whether someone sent you an out-of-place location ping? I've received and sent too many damn location pings to keep track of. Maybe you can narrow it down. Or maybe you can start using your head. Before Harubanya, was there anyone else who accidentally sent you a location ping? Actually, now that she mentions it, I remember something. A location ping from Miki. Did we arrange something? I don't recall any recent conversations with her. Yeah, it was you actually. You sent me a location ping by accident. Mistapped because my name was right under. Wait, mistapped because my name and his name are right next to each other. Yahiko Ikari. When I think about it, everything fits too well. Yahiko Ikari, he started the Happy Club and is connected with 3 recent deaths, Akane, Shoji, Haru, and before that, he also knew Midori and Tuma. And he would know a lot about the Academy's security and technology, maybe even more than the average faculty member, being the son of the higher-ups at Lemony Skate. And I've seen how, in the blink of an eye, he can shift from joy to depression, almost as if he has perfect control over how he wants his emotions to be seen. And he knows me, knows the code to my apartment, knows my schedule, knows my actions and my reactions. Yeah, but also Natsuki knows the code to your apartment, okay? And she's just some random lady. And he was there. At the murder of Haru, Yahiko Ikari was there. He had coincidentally run into me, seemed flabbergasted that I was there, so kindly offered to cover for me. Yahiko Ikari, my former roommate, my friend. Well, isn't that just so damn typical? The serial killer can't just be some random chump off the street. No, he has to be someone close to me. But as my fury intensifies, a black anger nausea, everything solidifies, the blood in my body. Mizaki's image fizzles into acetone. What kind of friend are you, man? You know it ain't Yahiko, you've known him for 2 years. I spit bitterly. Yeah, give me some proof. I'd love to believe it. For starters, you got no proof that some big shot organization just hacked out your lock. Might be tough to break from a person, but ain't even a sneeze for a team of pros. So you're saying that the serial killer could actually be an organization, and they decided to frame me when I caught one of their members killing Haru in District 6? Yeah, something like that. Then something doesn't make sense. The killer, organization, whatever, weren't close to me. It's weird that I'm still alive. Haru's phone was in my apartment. It's still weird that that you're still alive. It's weird that you're still alive. There. It's weird because I'm still alive. Un momento. Okay. Why wouldn't they just kill me? Witness to the crime scene out by myself in District 6. They wanted to frame you, man. Framing someone who's alive does a whole lot more than framing someone who's dead, especially if he can't really defend himself. But that's the thing, how could they know that I couldn't defend myself? Because it's someone who knows about your, lapses. Huh? The only people who could possibly know about my lapses are ones who are close to me, really close. Ruri and Mizaki for sure, and maybe you and Yahiko. No, there's somebody else. Which means that the killer could only have been one of those 4 people. It can't be Ruri, it can't be Mizaki, and well, I'm pretty sure it can't be you either. But you don't think that way for Yahiko? You want me to list evidence alphabetically or chronologically? I can't believe it, but Yahiko actually fits. Let me ask you one more thing, man. Do you really think that Yahiko's the serial killer? I just told you that. Do you really believe, like you believe the sun will rise every morning and I'll badger you into track every day, that Yahiko's the man? No. I don't. I honestly don't. Everything goes against him, but for some reason I just can't imagine that Yahiko would be the serial killer. But isn't that shallow-minded? Isn't that foolish? That teacher knows about your lapses. Couldn't my reluctance lead to Rui's death? Right then. Masato's image fizzles into Akira, who jabs an energetic finger in my direction. Radio cheerio. Time to think of this from another angle. We've got ourselves some tricks up our metaphorical sleeve, Sarge, so don't give up yet. Yeah, no offense, but you're not exactly the person I want for logical thinking. Oh, but what you need and what you want are two completely different things. Lying, like dying versus not dying. Well, what do you suggest? Well, you have a suspect now, right? Don't flip the turtles out before you've proved whether he's guilty or innocent. That's like counting your chickens before the avian flu strikes and wipes them all off the face of the planet. So find proof of Yahiko's innocence? Easier said than done. Much easier said than done. Oh, I wouldn't say that, Sarge. You've got some things stewing in that brain of yours. Such as... Akira suddenly morphs into Mizaki. Don't you remember how the killer forgot about the phone's all-charging feature? Yahiko loves technology as much as I do, not to mention that his parents work at Lemniscape. If you were the killer, do you really think he would have forgotten something so simple? That's well right, but by itself it's pretty weak. Mizaki fizzles out, allowing Elizabeth to take center stage. And think, what does Haru's mishap really imply? Remember, in his panicked last moments, he was attempting to send a location ping to Yahiko, but his finger slipped on you instead. Oh, of course. Why didn't I see that before? Haru was trying to send a location ping to Yahiko too. Distract him, bait him, get help. It was probably... Why would that distract him? To get help. Oh, okay. Get help. Haru wanted to let Yahiko know that he was in danger. If Yahiko saw that he was in District 6, well, I think that even Yahiko would know that something was wrong. Correct. Also, Haru must have eventually been able to get a signal through, because he showed up, even if it was after me. Not only that, but he had already called the police. I'm trying to help you, dude. You have to get out of here now. Why would I? Go, leave. Which means that your entire basis for suspecting Yahiko Akari is now null and void. A little part of me relaxes, but I realize that this doesn't actually solve anything. Rui's gone, and I'm nowhere closer to discovering the killer than I was before I started thinking. Rui is still in danger. I'm still a runaway convict. The serial killer is still running amok, having his little grim parties. Is there nothing I can do? Nothing? Wait a moment. Think, why did Haru not notify the police before he began tailing the killer? Like me, he is a capable individual. We don't just miss such things. Why indeed? Why would Haru have requested? Why wouldn't have Haru requested backup, or at least give an anonymous tip? He doesn't trust the police. He didn't want to alert the killer. He lost access to his phone. Well, that doesn't really make sense, because then the police could still find him. He lost access to his phone. No, I think maybe he doesn't trust the police. He didn't alert the police because he didn't trust them. Didn't trust them? Why? Personal traumatic encounter? Previous difficulties in dealing with law enforcement? Or could it be something else? Could it be that Haru saw something in the police, something that he never could forget? You know him more than I do. What is your opinion on the matter? She's my errand boy. You claim to be good at reading people. Are you saying that you misread the suspect? I am not wrong. Then you agree that Yame Shimoto is a prime suspect. I agree. Could Haru have seen corruption? Why is it that a student was the first one to think of camping outside the school and tailing the serial killer? Why is it that the investigation Force didn't even go through the school, scouring the area for evidence on the killer? Why is it that no city CCTV ever turned up with any results? What if all this time, sitting behind the curtain watching us dance, the police were just there laughing, watching us run in fear as they pretend that they're trying to protect us? And that would mean Haru died for nothing. Yahiko called for nothing. And now Ruri will disappear, will be shredded to pieces, will be left to rot for nothing. And there's nothing. Not one damn thing that I can do. Catch the killer, find the evidence, package him up, and ship him to the police department, and he'll just walk free because it was all part of the plan. Or worse yet, they won't even catch him. They'll have him surrounded, and he'll miraculously break free, and they'll give chase like a bunch of fools. And Ruri will die for nothing. Ruri, with her fiery passion, and her love, and her endless enthusiasm for her dear ones, will pass into the fate of nihilism, where there is no intrinsic value, no purpose, no beneficial way to her sacrifice for me. She'll be remembered, maybe by a memorial for victims who were the targets of horrifying serial killers who will, maybe one day, be brought to justice. That would be her only identity, a murder victim, a girl who had her whole life ahead of her, one more poor soul in the annals of injustice. No one would know her smile or her little quips, or the way she bit her lip when she was nervous about something. No, the name Ruri Hayata would only bring nods of pity and despondent sighs, and if she's really lucky, fuel for a movement for treatment of mental illness or weapon control, or some sort of political movement. Or objective. See, I'm just adding words again. And then, as days pass on, as time becomes months, and years and decades, she'll be forgotten forever. Drowned out in the names of other victims, who will be remembered with nothing but nods of pity and despondent sighs. Nothing but non-existence. Eri suddenly appears and stares at me with such intensity that I swear she's almost real. Do not lose focus. Her image blurs at the edges, rounding out, hair turning orange, and... Gosh, you're a wreck, what happened? I open my mouth. A feeble, unintelligible noise bleeds out. You try to do too much, Yama, that's the problem. You want to do everything, but everything becomes so overwhelming that you just end up doing nothing. You can only do what you can. The rest is out of your hands. I can only do what I can. Yeah, and right now, all you can do is figure out who the killer is. You're up for that much, right? So you're stuck because you think the killer has to be you, me, Yahiko, or Masato, right? I guess. My voice comes out very small. I squash the temptation to reach out, touch her jacket, her hair, anything. Because right now, she's not real. Right now, she might even be. Are you paying attention? No. Wow, I think I finally know what it's like to be one of your teachers. I cough out a cross between a chuckle and a snort. It's so close to reality, but it's not. Then all-knowing teacher, what do you have to say? Well, your passcode is literally so stupid that anyone who saw it just once could get in. But that's not the problem. The problem is that the killer knows about my lapses. No, wait. There's something strikingly familiar about what she said. Didn't she mention this before? Didn't she say something like this before? There's something vitally important about that statement. Your passcode is literally so stupid that anyone who saw it just once could get in, which sticks out so much. Your passcode, anyone just once. Just once. Just once. Oh, I got an achievement. The clock is ticking. Nice. She'd been talking about someone who had seen my passcode just once. Someone who commented on how stupid it was. Oh, please, your passcode's the stupidest possible code to exist on the planet. Even Mr. Ryota pointed it out how stupid it was. There we go. Shiro Ryota, a man who helped me move into my apartment, who commented on how stupid the code was, who certainly would have remembered it. A man who knew all of the victims because they each were fighting psychological problems, and he was a school counselor. A man who would know the security of the school inside and out, yet would not be up to date with the latest features of smartphones like a wall charger. Well, he literally checks like when the people make sure that they get in before curfew, so yeah. He should be like the first suspect for the police. A man who is strong enough to inflict the same wounds as the serial killer, smart enough to outmaneuver the police, controlled enough to fake sanity in the day. A man who after curfew is free from his duties. And a man who would approach me after seeing me at Haru's murder site, surprised that I didn't seem to remember what had happened. A man who would certainly be curious at my unusual reaction. A man who could access the confidential school records and learn about my lapses from there. A man who I trusted too much. Why? It's not you. There's something I must have missed. A proof, a theory, anything. Why? Why did it have to be you? You damn old geezer, why did you even... Why? But nothing but silence. The silence of finality, of a door that's been opened and can never be closed. You just logic to find the murderer. All tension leaves my body. I can vaguely feel myself slumping on the subway bench, neck uncomfortably stretched to accommodate the weight of my head. Mr. Ryota, my mentor, my friend, and the serial killer. You're really different today, Yama. What's bothering you? Back then, I should have seen it. Because why hadn't anyone else noticed? Why Mr. Ryota was the only one who thought something had happened that night? Who, me? Nah, I'm pretty much a free bird after I verified curfew. I had my suspicions. I'd known that there was something odd about him. But I didn't want there to be. I wanted to wave it away. I wanted to trust Mr. Ryota. I wanted just one person who would understand everything and stay on my side. Well, there's no explicit rule saying I can't use the confidential databases. I'm pretty sure that there is. Nope, I may be faculty, but I'm not a teacher. It's only stated that teachers have to request special permission. I checked the loopholes. Right, you know how the entry student application to the academy requires a psychological analysis by a qualified physician, yes? Yeah, another security measure, isn't it? Let me read this and see what you think. He knew about my lapses not because I told him, but because he had access to the psychological overviews of each student. He would have known each of the victims. Maybe they were assigned to his counseling care just like I was. Yeah, I hate computers. We'd be dead without them. You know what was great? My desktop iPairman, that was great. Stable, awesome, and a killer whirl of the fan. You guys don't know how satisfying it is when you hear your computer work to keep itself cool. That's kind of weird. No casual user has desktops anymore. Oh, and icon phones, man. These days... Oh man, phones these days break if you breathe on them. Wrong. Icon phones, they could possibly survive a nuclear blast. Ah, there we go, finally working. And he knew about computers, not an avid follower of electronics, not enough to know about weed, but enough to know about phone batteries. Instead of detention, the teacher is convinced that I need a more permanent solution. Like death? I can help you with that. So how's the apartment? Still in one piece, mostly. Good to hear. And Phil? Phil? The little houseplant, the one I placed on your shelf. Your memory sucks more than mine, kid. Wow, how do you have this much free time? Life as a dorm manager is just swell, isn't it? Like die-cut pieces of a complex puzzle, all the facts and memories line up in perfect succession. The killer is Mr. Ryota. Now I know it with certainty, intrinsically, just like I know I can sit on a chair and it'll support my weight, or I can walk under a bridge and it won't fall on top of me. What about that Natsuki girl? She seems suspicious. She knew, like, the code to your apartment, too. I just don't know what to do next. Shouldn't there be a sense of triumph, a miniature party in the back of my head, giving me a cookie or successfully finding out the killer? Something keeping me going, propelling me to the next step. I know the identity of the killer. Shouldn't I report this? But to whom? I'm on the run from the police, who may or may not be corrupt. I can hardly show my face at school, and if I call Mr. Ryuta, well, that simply wouldn't do anything. Well, he doesn't know you know he's a killer. For the most part, it feels like I should just give up. There's nothing further to head to, no way out of the conundrum I've worked myself into. This situation requires me to be clever, more clever than I can be. I want to think myself out from some magical solution, but sometimes it's just not there. Reaching into an empty bag and expecting handfuls of gold. Then, is this it? Ah, someone's calling me. Maybe I'll pick up, and on the other end... I'll hear the cold, dead voice of Rui's parents, saying quietly that Rui has been found, but as a bleeding, mutilated lump of flesh and bone. I'll be so triggered if I get a bad end. Maybe I'll drop my phone, and this time it'll shatter completely, crushed to pieces like the fragments of sanity stringing me together. Or maybe it's a tracking call from the Lemniscate, a bid from the police that I'll be stupid enough to pick up. And I'm gonna save again. We're gonna pick it up. If it asks us, I don't know. The phone number unknown, the risk high. If I answer it and it is from the police, I'll be caught in the blink of an eye. Rui will die, Ryuta will run free. But if I don't, then what? I'll be left alone to fend for myself, and somehow I'll have to extract Rui safely and catch Ryuta and somehow stay alive. Is it even possible, or do I need help, no matter how much I despise it? I answer the phone. No, I have to pick this up. Facing Ryuta by myself will only result in getting both Rui and me killed. Probably. Whoops. With shaking fingers, I answer the call. Hello? Yama Ishimoto, I need you to listen carefully. This is my personal phone and cannot be tracked. The number you have been contacting until now has been my work phone. I need to hang up now. Surely they're tracking my number, narrowing down the district and block and even the last millimeter. I don't even think they have the well, maybe they do. Maybe the police do. But only clutch the phone tighter. The walls that I've built up, struggling to keep a foothold on my emotions, are starting to crumble. The police are in the midst of a manhunt of your person. They sincerely believe that you are the killer. And you need me to turn myself in. I need you to stay out of sight and give me time. What? Is this some kind of next level bait? I don't understand. Don't get caught, Ishimoto. Any time you might give me is time we may dedicate to catching the true killer. But you said you were the only suspect I could trust to avoid the police for the necessary amount of time. I fall into silence at this, the magnitude of her statement only growing the more I ponder it. You saw me at the apartments and were warning me? You hardly were inconspicuous. So if you happen to possess any previously unknown information regarding the identity of the killer, now would be a wonderful time to state as such. You know the killer, come on. It could be a trap. It could still be a trap. But I don't think it is. The killer is Jiro Ryuta, the dorm manager and counselor of the academy. Silence falls momentarily on the other end of the phone. I can practically see Shigeru's grip tightening. What? How did you come to know this? Shigeru, did you get any recent disappearance reports? 3, actually. I need help, Shigeru. Help. My voice cracks, and I hate it. Hate feeling vulnerable, hate feeling open, but I don't have a choice. Shigeru falls silent for a long moment. Just when I'm beginning to think that she's hung up, she speaks. Will you live within the next 5 minutes? Her voice is slow and steady, soothing my frazzled nerves. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm not injured. Then the urgency? Rui's disappeared. I work to speak, but my throat's gone dry. After a moment of silence, Shigeru continues. You presume she is with the killer? He must have taken her. I have no time to question you, Ishimoto, so I ask you this and this only. Are you completely, absolutely certain that the culprit is Jiroreita? Yes. I say it without hesitation. It appears to catch her off guard. Very well. I shall send forces to the academy under the reasoning that you may be hiding there. We may be able to find where he is holding Rui. That's it? She just takes my word as law? Thanks. In the meantime, stay out of sight and out of mind. Do you understand? But Ryota would see the police coming. He wouldn't stand still. He would escape immediately after killing Rui. Actually, I'm planning on contacting him. For what purpose? I need to meet with him, to try to buy some time, otherwise... Shigeru violently explodes into strident screams that I'd never heard from her before. Gullible imbecile, you moronic excuse for it. What are you even thinking? I'm taken aback by her sudden flare of passion. My surprise is quickly replaced by ignorance. At least I'm telling you now, aren't I? Oh yes, when it was nearly too late and I would have called a corpse. Simply put, Ishimoto, you haven't told me anything. Why would you not speak to me if you knew the identity of the killer? A very real bolt of anger lances through me. Why? Because I just figured it out. Because somehow, barely and at the end of my rope, I find something to cling on to. But I can't tell her that. If I say that I just figured it out, she might change her mind. She might need the reasoning. Who would trust a teenager who just figured out the supposed identity of a serial killer? I had a good reason for doing so. Oh good, do enlighten me. What, you can't just believe me? Need to throw some more tests, another little riddle run in District 6? Hell, was that investigation in the school just another goose chase? A funny little game to see how the kids at the academy dance? What are you saying, Ishimoto? You're right, I guess. Even while I was figuring out who the killer was, I didn't call you. I didn't ask you for help. Because I knew what you'd say. You'd poke holes at me. You'd say that my reasoning didn't make sense. You'd need empirical evidence. I knew that you wouldn't have believed me. You never even needed me as your assistant in the first place. Cold silence descends. I wouldn't have believed you? And then something happened. Something that I something that I would have thought to be impossible. Holy, Shigeru's voice cracks. But you didn't even try. I would have believed you. I would. If you just trusted me. If you just... She falters for a moment, then seems to recover, her voice strengthening. Ishimoto, regardless of my previous insinuations, I need you to know something. I do not tolerate the idiocy of the average ingenious Denzian, much less let them become my personal assistant. You have repeatedly proven yourself through your rational deductions, your level-headed procedures, and your propensity to attack problems from unusual angles. Your input is invaluable. Despite your clear disparity in experience, you have taught me several valuable lessons. Do you wish to know why I pulled your accomplices into the investigation rather than opting for a police unit? Simply put, my permissions in the case were barred from the academy. All information I was given was secondhand and thus easily corruptible. However, I was impressed by how you and your accomplices worked wholeheartedly. Yami Ishimoto, I have faith in you. Wow. Her words pierced through me. I'm frozen to the ground in shock, wordlessly opening and closing my mouth. Shigeru believes in me. I don't even know how to react. You know what? I'm surprised that the police haven't even come here looking for Yama, because you know, maybe shouldn't they expect him to like try to run away if he's a murderer? I don't even know how to react. But after that meeting with Natsuki, you know, fired you? That was for your own benefit, you imbecile. Or are your eyes too? Oh, never mind. The familiar type of response rings a chuckle at me, but my mind is still racing. I have faith in you. Those simple little words. Words that tell me that I can do something, that acknowledge my effort, that tell me it's okay, you'll do the right thing. In the distance, I catch the faint glimmer of the approaching subway, hailed by the distant echo of the announcer's voice. Sudden clarity breaks in my mind. It's as if every disjointed piece just fell into place. I know what to do. Thanks, Shigeru. I get to my feet as the subway grinds to a halt before me, but Shigeru's voice comes harshly into my earpiece. Yama, listen carefully. We are en route, but there are powerful forces behind this case that remain very much hostile. It will take time to arrive. You understand this? I do. I'll get you in time. I'm extremely uneasy at the thought of sending a civilian into the presence of a known serial killer, but if you honestly believe you can prevent a death tonight, I shall not stop you. I think I can. Oh well, that sounds convincing. I probably can. I suppose that is the best I can ask for. I would wish that you might wait until I could convey a firearm to you, but not possible with the current time frame. I have to go now. Neither of us mentioned that it would also be extremely illegal. Understood. Best of luck, Ishimoto. One sec. Stay on call. Oh. I punch Ryota's contact and set the phone on speaker, waiting patiently. Shigeru apparently understands. Not a word crosses her lips. Finally, a neutral tone indicates that Ryota's picked up. Oh. Hello? Hearing his voice makes me freeze. This voice that comforted me, guided me, made me laugh. In the end, it left me, just like everything else. I quickly shake myself, trying to master my words. He's an enemy now, a stranger. Feign ignorance, maybe I can still grab an advantage. Hey, Mr. Ryota? Hey, kid. That's when I realize that something is terribly wrong. It's some ungodly hour in the morning, and yet he picked up immediately, and he sounds wide awake. Almost as if he's been preparing for this moment. Mr. Ryota? Say, you have great timing. I was wondering if we could meet up. I know that it's like some crazy hour or another, but I have something pretty important to tell you. It has to do with, you know, your lapses. Is that really it? Is that why he's up? I can't bring myself to believe that. Mr. Ryota, I was just... But before I can add anything more, Ryota's phone buzzes angrily in the background. He pauses for a moment. Sorry, kid, just let me take this call really quick. And he suddenly mutes. Fingers shaking, I also mute my end, switching to Shigeru's call. Did you hear all that? Quite clearly. Ishimoto, about the call Ryota just received, I am uneasy that it may, perhaps... But that's when I hear Ryota's voice, and I quickly switch back to his call and unmute. Thankfully, Shigeru immediately falls silent. Mr. Ryota? Mr. Ryota, did you find anything out about... Nice try, you almost had me. Hang up the call with the police first, then we'll talk. I almost dropped the phone, a bolt of panic lancing straight into my chest. He knows? How could he? Hurry up, boy, I don't have all day. I shakily mute and switch to the call. I expect Shigeru to burst into anger, but she only seems resigned. It is as I surmised. A mole? That, or... trails off, as if the thought is too terrible to comprehend. Ishimoto, knowing this new risk, are you still determined to enter the school? I have to. I can't let Rui go without a fight. I shall bring a unit. Give us as much time as you possibly can. I will. And Ishimoto, given the choice between a stupid option and a stupider option, which would you pick? The less stupid one. Wrong. You pick neither, and wait. Please, Ishimoto, you wouldn't enter the lottery nor borrow from a loan shark in order to buy a house, no? It's best to wait and save. Do you understand? What? Just remember this. and she hangs up, leaving me alone in the subway. I switch back to Rita's call and unmute. He chuckles lightly. If you just asked the police for help, I wouldn't count on it. You don't know a thing, do you? I know you're the murderer. That's a pretty good start. Hey, murder is such a harsh term. I like to call myself an artist. Or an artiste with the E. He chuckles again, but this time it comes with a pinch of shrillness that wasn't there before. My foreboding only skyrockets. Just what kind of insanity has he been hiding? So, hung up the call, now what? Quite simply, the fun begins. Come to my Playboy. I've been setting the stage. This just confirms my fears. For some reason, Rich has been preparing to kill me. Maybe I'm the next one on his list. No, I can't let this shake me. I have to stay strong. Talk normally. You've done it before. Oh, the false bravado of a man in love. I know it well. Did I really sound like that? I wonder. It's so terribly stupid. Are you going to answer my question, or are you going to wax more poetry? Poetry is by far the more interesting option, don't you think? You crazy, Mr. Rita. Only for people with too much time on their hands. And that is the eternal problem, boy, for the both of us. We each have too much time on our hands. Far, far too much. Doesn't life just get so dull, every hour passing drearily like a never-ending group project where all you have to do is murder your classmates? That's what life is. How do you ease your boredom, I wonder? Television? Social media? No, you do neither. Sleep? Thanks, Shakespeare, but I think my life is my own business. I look forward to stripping that sense of righteous anger within you and replacing it with terror. I look forward to you trying. Ha! I love the ones that fight back. It just makes their descent all the more satisfying. Before I can respond, he plows on, his voice gradually rising in pitch. Now, let us set the stage, shall we? I thought you were taking care of that. Oh, don't worry. I'll be taking care of all the props. Do you hear me, boy? Don't bring any extra props. The thought never crossed my mind. Leave your phone and any police toys at the entrance. I'll see if you try to smuggle something into the theater. Understand? Is that it? Not quite. Why are you so hasty to end the call? Am I boring you? Sure. Let's go with that. Then I'll get straight to the point. There's a brief moment of silence, punctuated only by the faint tones of Ryuta punching numbers into his phone. Then I hear a voice. Yama, don't you dare do anything stupid. Nothing hits me, but it's like all the breath has been sucked out of my lungs. Rui? Stay there, don't come. I wordlessly open and close my mouth, desperately searching for my words. My mind only runs blank. I'm sure you're already aware of this, but right now, I am the master of Rui's fate, so you might want to stay on my good side. This is how it's going to happen. You come to the back of the school, you know, the garbage truck route. You're going to dump all your toys, then I'll let you in. How? There's no entrance. Why is it that you all say the same thing? Boring. Where there is a will where there is a will boy, there is a way. So that's it then? Oh, well, actually, I feel I should tell you this, just as a kindness of my heart. Rui won't be there. For insurance purposes, I'm sure you understand. My fingers clamp in a death grip on my phone. What do you mean, Rui won't be there? Hush, child. Why are you so impatient? Right now, Rui's in the safe hands of a third party, so long as you listen to my words. So we meet up, have a little chat, and I let Rui go. Everyone gets their happy ending, except the police who, well, you know, they won't do anything anyway. A beautiful arrangement, no? Speak now or hold your peace. Grind my teeth and force a long, slow breath. If I go, I won't be able to see Rui with my own eyes. She could be anywhere. Even when Shiguru comes, we won't be able to find her. But am I really in a position to be making demands? I think I'm going to refuse these terms. No, if I can't see Rui, then this entire ordeal is pointless. I have to take this risk. You know me better than that, Ryuta. I have to see Rui with my own two eyes. Who knows, you could be lying. You could kill her before I show up. I'm wounded. Do you really think I would do something so cliché? Well, I didn't think you'd be a serial killer. But here we are. Forgive me for not taking chances. Fair enough, boy. I'll play along. She'll be here by the time you arrive. I'll even let you see her before you enter the school. That was very oddly agreeable of him. Enough to make me feel as though I've walked straight into his setup. And boy, is that all? Time passes ever on. Can I get anything more from him? Right now the situation seems grim. Well, you didn't specify that she would be alive or anything. Reject these terms, I think. I'd also like for Rui to be untied so she can run away. As if you wouldn't be able to chase her down. Heh, playing hard to get, aren't we? Fine, because I'm so very magnanimous, whatever, I accept. Would your highness also like a pony? Any new terms stack the odds more in my favor, but I'm not currently in the position of power. If I push too hard, everything could go south. I guess I'll accept. No, if I'm honest, there's not a whole lot more I can ask without making the request seem downright ridiculous to Ryuta. Ryu's going to be there. I'm going to see her. The police will know where I am. This is the most I can ask for. The back of the school, then? I'll give you 15 minutes. I'm coming from the subway station. Then you better run. Ta-ta. Wow. And that's the last thing he says before he hangs up. Almost blankly, I stand in the middle of the subway platform, phone swinging loosely from the edge of my fingers. Then all my muscles burst into action and I shoot at the subway, legs pounding the pavement as fast as I can make them. My lungs start to burn as the cold night air cuts into my throat like knives, but I'm forced to ignore it. Stoplights in the cross-section warn me to stop, but when I see a gap between the incoming cars, I bolt across for my life. Engines roar by and horns belt in volume. I'm certain that the cars roll down their windows to call me crazy, scream that I'm an idiot, swear to call the police on me, but I don't care. They're coming back from a long workday, or from grabbing the fast food around the corner, or picking up their kid from martial arts or cram school. Meanwhile, there's a girl hedged in a dark room, alone, her only company a crazed murderer who takes pleasure in the infliction of long, extended agony. And yet, on they go, with fast food and martial arts and cram school. And I'm gonna save again. The world blurs by in a haze of bright, fluorescent colors until I finally grind to a halt at the entrance of the school. My heart feels as though it's slamming into my ribs, bruising itself until it bleeds. I am forced to stop and lean against the gate, gulping desperately for air. 13 minutes, I only have 2 left. I press my sleeve against the sweat coating my brow, allowing myself time for one more deep breath. Then I sprint around the perimeter of the school, stopping by the shady back area where all the good kids stay clear of. Ground up cigarette butts lie scattered on the floor, and if I squint, I catch the light gleam of empty needles in the grass. Oh, well, maybe this school was a little less tidy than I first thought. As I near the trash bin, I notice a long, distinctly human-shaped figure leaning against a solid wall. I know why they're raving. I expect the voice, but I don't expect the instinctive reaction that comes with it. My breath catches and my throat clogs, sending tears straight to my eyes. No matter how hard I try to keep them down. And Ryuta steps into the moonlight, lips twisted into a lopsided grin. Out for a little night exercise? try to speak, but no sound passes my lips. I know what he's doing. I know what this is. Power play. I'm sweaty, tired, disheveled, and likely very sleep deprived. Forcing me to run here only gave him more of an advantage. And there's nothing I can do about it. Now, removal of gadgets, if you may. Wordlessly, I reach into my pocket until I remember. You said you'd show me Rui first. He only chuckles at this, not even a chuckle of amusement. It almost sounds giddy. Good, good. You're already learning how to play the game. He turns and points silently at the second floor of the classroom building. Most of it is shrouded in darkness, but just by the window, I catch a glint of... You saw it, didn't you? It's a phone. All I saw was orange hair. It could be a dupe. Sighing heavily, Rui reaches for his phone and taps the screen a few times. He only has to wait a few seconds. Rui, your boyfriend is having some trust issues. Be a dear and look out the window. I stare at the building, forcing myself not to blink, half convinced that if I look away for a split second, I'll miss everything. The head of orange hair by the window turns slowly, revealing a distant, pale face, muddled slightly by the distortion of the window. But without a doubt, it's Rui. I sigh breathlessly, instinctively, something that I can't stop in time. Ryuta smiles triumphantly. Phone? I silently hand him my phone. Turn out your pockets, pants, and jacket. I do so. You're walking evenly, so I doubt you're carrying anything in your shoes or your underwear. Come in, we've wasted enough time. How? We're at the back of the... Then he touches the wall and part of it slides away. Suddenly, there's a keypad. He jabs a sequence of 6 digits into the keypad, waits, and the wall slides open. It's nothing like one of those mysterious puzzles of an ancient architecture in video games, where the whole wall rumbles apart while the ground shakes, and dust falls from the ceiling and a magical passage is revealed. Simply put, a door-shaped part of the wall swings open, as if it was just a door painted to look like the wall, except the texture is somehow exactly the same. It's quiet, it's understated, and I would have never guessed in a million years that it was there. Ryuta clocks my shock and only grins in response. Crazy mofo. Let me tell you something, kid. The janitor has to get in and out somehow to dump his trash. Now, smooth little schools like this, they love to give the illusion that they're perfectly protected, impenetrable walls in every direction, the only gate supervised by a card reader and cameras. But functionally speaking, you think that the janitor is going to walk out the gates all the way around the school, go back all the way around and through the gates? Of course not. That's sheer nonsense. Sheer nonsense. Something on the level of presuming that the janitor took everything to the land of missing socks. I knew that there had to be another way in. Well, it took some searching, but that's how I found this. Why hadn't I thought of something like that? Why did it have to be Ryuta? If you're trying to brag, don't expect a red carpet award from me. What I'm trying to tell you, kid, is that even the richest school in all of Insamu has a crappy security system. One man outsmarted it, just like this. To be fair, they probably weren't expecting a serial killer to be in their faculty. Ha, sloppy work on their part. Let's go, the night isn't getting any younger, and nor am I. What you gonna do? He turns and slides into the corridor, moving so fluidly that his head stays perfectly even over the ground. Then I noticed that his careful steps render him virtually silent, like a predator hunting down a piece of injured prey. It's a simple matter of exiting the building, turning the corner, and entering the classroom complex. He leads me up the stairs to the second floor, the floor where I saw Rui. He pulls open the door, lifting an eyebrow at me. I only stare in the dim gloom, suddenly filled with dread. Everything could be a trap. Rui could have been moved. Probably. Shiguru could be lying. I don't think she's lying. There are so many moving components to this encounter, so many potential things that could go wrong, or go completely wrong. I turn my gaze to Ryuta, who only jerks his head at the door in a distinctly more impatient fashion. Impatience. I follow this nugget into the back portion of my mind that's still miraculously working. Then, with one deep breath, I enter the classroom. Rita falls straight behind me, announcing my appearance with a loud crow. And the delinquent arrives at last. He pushes up his sleeves as if he's getting ready for work, tossing his keys and phone on the top of the desk, probably an effort to unburden himself for whatever he has planned. I stop abruptly, my eyes roving frantically across the classroom, searching empty space. There, huddled in the back corner of the room, are three desolate figures, each tied firmly to their chairs. One of them with streaks of orange hair shining softly in the scant moonlight is Rui. For a moment, I see nothing else. My eyes fix on her, and my throat closes. Happy? I shuffle forward, a choked whimper tearing out of my mouth before I can stop it. It's only after seeing her that the weight falls, that I realize how long it's been since we've last spoken, that I realize how much I've missed her, that I remember what life was like without her. I brace my hands against the desk to keep myself from collapsing bonelessly to the ground, forcing slow and steady breaths into my lungs. Still alive and before my eyes. She screams something muffled against her gag and kicks the wall. The abrupt noise stops me in my tracks. Oh, it seems the damsel in distress wants to share some lovely little words. Clearly amused, he stands to his feet and swaggers over to the chairs. In one fluid motion, he flourishes something from the teacher's desk and holds it high in the air. A knife, serrated and sickly, blade glinting coldly at the edges. With a jolt of panic, I leap forward. Don't. He slices down. Time freezes. The tip of the knife whisks forward and over, straight towards Rui's skull, searing the air below it in two. And at the last possible moment, he pulls back and nearly shreds the knot of her gag. The cloth flutters elegantly in the air, coming to rest on the linoleum below. I force a ragged breath as Rita screeches. Wahahaha! Oh kid, the look on your face. Priceless. Priceless. I slump against the desk, my relief too great to allow room for anger. Instead, I stare at Rui. Her eyes, her hair, the tip of her nose, letting the memorized image remind me of home. Comfort, teasing, loud Christmas dinners, and scented candles at a town festival, whispered inside jokes, elbows in the ribs, playing make-believe like two idiots. Rui. What the hell are you thinking, Yama? Why'd you come here? Her voice changes octaves with every syllable and her eyes are full of tears, but despite her terror, she's only worrying about me. Clear my throat and croak something incomprehensible, then try again. You're okay. Yeah, but not for long. Why didn't you just stay home? Because I couldn't leave her to die. Because I had to do something. I guess I got lazy at being lazy. She snorts out a choked laugh, something almost frantic, but, as if she didn't mean to laugh, but she couldn't help it. Well, there's a surprise. She sends me a weak smile. I turn to Rita, who only smiles lazily in response. You see, I'm a good sport, so very accommodating. You won't find an executioner of my tier anywhere else in the world. Executioners kill for a purpose. Executioners are given targets by other people. Is it possible to get any information out of him? Executioner? You mean a glorified hunting dog? So I say with an attempt in a cold, flat tone, but to my dismay, my voice cracks. This only seems to heighten Rita's glee. Hunting? Oh no, hunting is meant for practical purposes. Hunting is for the meat, or the hide, or the money from sales. I like to think of myself as a gardener, pruning dead weight so the branches with actual promise can grow. My ID is my employer, my ego, the employee. And don't think I don't know what you're doing. Scraping for time won't bring the police any closer, boy. Do you realize that you sound... No more provocations. It's time for school to begin its session. He abruptly pounds the handle of his knife against the desk, blasting my ears with the sudden sound. My heart instinctively jumps into my throat. He snickers quietly at the shock that must be evident on my face. Welcome, class. Hate to say it, but you're now in remedial session. Suffice to say, you've all screwed up in a big way, and it's my job to whip you back into shape. How I hate it, but someone in this snooty little elementary school has to smack the hands of the naughty ones. He suddenly whips to me, his eyes blazing fire, pointing the tip of the knife right at my chest. You, why aren't you sitting down? I sit down, throat dry, reach his shoulders, immediately relax. Good, that's exactly how I like it. Now, Ishimoto, is it? Since you came in late, you have to be my special assistant. My body goes cold, my eyes immediately turn to the knife, Ryota reading my intentions chuckle. Got a bad feeling. Oh, don't look so scared, boy. You'll help me discipline. Sounds like a much better position to be in, doesn't it? Relief courses through me, and I hate myself for it. I'll give you a little choice, boy. Listen carefully, because it's an important one. Each of us needs to discipline someone else. That's a given. This is a remedial class, after all. But I'll give you two fabulous options out of the goodness of my heart. Either my disciplinee will be darling little Rui, and yours will simply be that plastic class skeleton, or both of us will work on those other two students. Other students? Since when were... Alright, the two strangers sitting by Rui. I look to the back of the room, sizing up the three figures. The first is a girl, the second a boy. I don't recognize either of them, but they look young, maybe in their first year. They're speechless, but even from where I sit, I can see the sweat rolling from their temples and dripping onto their necks, and their knees are clearly shaking. Both of them absolutely terrified, innocent bystanders pulled into this sick, dastardly game. Rui is next to them. Unlike the others, she is completely still, eerily so, like she's been turned into stone. When I meet her gaze, I see nothing but tears of fear in her eyes. She's ungagged. In a different circumstance, she would have volunteered immediately in order to save the other two students. She would have been brave and fiery and everything the world knows her for. The fact that she isn't saying a word tells me just how scared she is. My eyes drift back to Ryuta, who only tilts his head. The knife twitches in his hand, and I suddenly piece everything together. He's a discipliner. I am a discipliner. Whatever he's planning on doing, I will have to copy. If he breaks bones, so must I. If he saws through limbs, so must I. And if I don't, then all of us would be killed right here, right now. Because the only thing keeping him playing along is me. I could pick the class skeleton. I would only have to maim plastic, stop on plastic, break plastic, everything would be safe. But then Rui would be in the hands of Ryuta, and watching Rui get hurt. I don't think I could bear it. I came here to save her, letting her die in Ryuta's hands. No, there has to be a different way. But then what? The other two students? That's two lives instead of one, two bodies instead of one. Objectively, it's the worst decision in every way. Ryuta knows this because he knows me, sometimes better than I know myself. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. The ultimate trade-off. I can't give up Rui. I just can't. But forcing two other students to suffer? Just who do I pick? Oh. I'm gonna pick the two students. I try to speak, but it comes out as a croak. Desperately, I clear my throat and try again. Let's work on the two other students. The reactions are immediate. Ryuta's face lightens up in a manic smile. Rui's jaw drops. The other two students explode. Bastard! You damn bastard! I can't believe you! Please, please, don't hurt my sister, don't hurt me. Oh, they're siblings. He's such an asshole. This makes me freeze. Brother and sister? I silently watch as Ryuta gleefully skips over to the chairs, dragging the two students over. Rui gasps breathlessly. Brother and sister, the cruelty will never end. I swear if you lay one finger on my brother... Ryuta stops abruptly. The momentum throws the girl against her ropes, temporarily choking her into silence. Isn't she just so darling? I picked her out specifically for you, boy. Did you? Oh yes, and she gets to be yours. My mind runs blank as the girl glares at me, hate burning clear in her eyes. You're disgusting. And I say nothing. It vaguely dawns on me that I should direct her anger at the serial killer, the psychopath who orchestrated this entire thing. But can I really? They still had hope. Hope they would go unscathed, that only one person would have to suffer rather than two. I crushed that hope, the last hope they ever had. Would he really let them go, though? Probably not. And now they'll die for it, agonizingly, with nothing but despair. Instead, my reply is automatic and empty. I'm sorry. I fully expect her to spit in my face, but she only turns her head away. Heso, look at me, Yes, so? The terrified boy locks eyes with her, face doused in a mixture of tears and sweat. It'll be okay, do you understand? It won't be. It'll be okay. I look at Ryuta, expecting him to slap her into silence, but he only leans against the wall, grinning like he's having the time of his life. Of course, he must be having field day. The pleasure of pain brings him more joy than death itself. I get the sudden urge to laugh, and I don't know why. Yama. The airy voice from the corner reminds me of Rui's presence. She's staring quietly at the scene before her, face bleached white. You're not going to hurt her, are you? Guilt, terror, regret, anguish. We must both be feeling their full effects. Close your eyes, Rui. She stifles a quiet sob. I turn to Ryuta. Now that everything's set up, I need you to untie Rui. You know I can't do anything to you while you still have that knife, and neither can she. And neither of us will leave the other person to die, either. Only because you're the teacher's pet boy. He stalks over to Rui's chair and cleanly slices at her bonds. She promptly clasps her hands together, breathing deeply. Don't run, Rui. We'll kill both of us. I won't. I turn back to Ryuta, hands sweating against the fabric of my jacket. So what are the rules of the game? Oh, it's quite simple. He strides behind the teacher's desk and pulls something out underneath. My heart drops. 2 metal pipes, around 3 feet in length, rough around the edges. He rolls one to me. I automatically stoop down and pick it up. We'll take turns inflicting blows on our disciplinees, good solid blows that make a nice musical sound. The first discipliner who knocks out or kills their disciplinee loses. The boy bawls at this point. Even the girl is shocked into silence. The first person to fall unconscious means a loss, which means I have to inflict pain without the promise of comfort. If I want to win, or at least not lose, each blow needs to be felt by the conscious mind. And in that moment, I'll be just like Ryuta. Oh, don't give me that face, boy. Be glad I didn't pick the knife. I mean, I'm pretty tempted to, but then you'd probably lapse, and that'd just be boring. Something like this needs to be remembered. So, are we ready to begin? No, I'm certainly not ready. I'll never be. I shift the pipe in my hand, feeling its weight. It's hefty, sturdy, could easily break bones, probably shatter a skull. Why don't you attack Ryuta then? And it's in my hands. I'll go first. Watch and learn. He stands over the boy, gripping the pipe tightly in one hand, keeping the knife in the other. I watch, transfixed, even while everything in my brain is screaming for me to turn away and close my eyes. The boy whimpers quietly, eyes wide, squirming about the crude ropes that bind him to his chair. Ryuta smirks quietly at him and ruffles his hair. Not gonna lie to you, kid, this is gonna hurt like hell. No. Ryuta raises the pipe painstakingly slow, reveling in the drama of the moment. I might have laughed if the situation wasn't so sick. 3, 2, 1. Oh, he whips the pipe down, but then it's just an inch away from the boy's kneecaps. He stops. Psych. The boy releases a great, shuddering gasp, shoulders drooping in relief. Then, without a moment of hesitation, Ryuta lifts the pipe and brings it down. Crack. Oh. Goes bone against metal, and the air splits from the impact of a horrifying, agonized scream, punctuated by a shrill screech of metal as the base of the chair grinds against the ground from the force of impact. Oh my gosh. You don't think anyone would hear the screams though? The boy is still screaming as Rita steps back in an expression that I'd never seen before dawning on his face. Oh beauty, true beauty, how pagan is your sting. He giggles quietly to himself as the boy writhes in pain, or raises against his chair, leg forced into an awkward angle. Ugh, ooh, damn it. This can't go on. I realize it quietly through the empty shock as my fingers tighten around the pipe. I can't let this go on. Is there a way to outthink this situation, any at all? When it's needed most, my mind fails me. Well, your turn, boy. 4 students, including me. 4 lives at stake. 2 thrust in the middle of terrible suffering. I originally came with the intention to just grab as much time as I possibly could. I thought I could prevent a death, maybe 2. But there's no sign of the police, not even the slightest indicator that will come at all. And now, death is looking like the best option. To buy time, I have to draw out this game, causing as much pain to this girl as she can bear, while the boy suffers beyond description, and if the police don't come, we'll still end up dead. I can crack this girl's skull, give her a merciful death, and then I lose. Ryuta unleashes his knife on the rest of us. Or if I move really fast, I can maybe put an end to both her and her brother, in which case I would only be down to ruin me. No, Chiguru said she would come. She swore she would come. She said, she promised, she told me. Stop dallying about, boy. We haven't got all day. Hit the girl, attack Ryuta's stall. I think attacking him wouldn't work. I know I mentioned that, but just the way this, game seems to be. So I'm gonna stall. Pipes. You think it's a little, I don't know, dated? Just because something is old-fashioned doesn't mean it's bad. I'm gonna stall as long as I can. I don't see what you mean. Sure you do. Never been an avid fan of change, have you? So you're saying that I'm stuck in my ways? We all have a natural tempo. Nothing wrong with that. Let's save. In case I miss. That's certainly a positive outlook. I know what you're trying to do, kid. Cut it out. Make your choice now. I wonder what happens if I keep stalling. That's enough, boy. You've tired my patience for far too long. No, wait. No more waiting. His eyes flare with rage as he leans forward ever. Okay. You talk now. Great, as if praying was instructed by again, and then it passes. Turn the girl's head right towards Rita. Yeah, this is probably a bad end. The force of the light blow crashes right against his weapon, driving it into his shoulder. Crunch with pain, but I feel no bones give way. Nothing that could give me an advantage. Fear spikes through me, but I refuse to freeze. I continue my assault, swinging my pipe with relentless desperation, high, low, middle, and end. With the shock of the initial assault worn off, Rita is an iron ball. He seems to know where my blows will strike before I swing them. Oh no, I have to hit him. I have to, or he'll take his revenge. I lunge forward, pulling all my strength into the next swing. Ryuta doesn't sidestep, he doesn't duck, he only broadens his stance and holds his pipe on both ends, driving it out of boards to meet my blow. The impact shatters my arm until my shoulders feel numb. I yell in pain, dropping the pipe on instant. He immediately seizes a moment to bring his pipe crashing down right on my leg. Ooh! Pain, nothing but pain, white as a sheet in my mind, washing everything out. Rita's voice bleeds quietly through the agony, low and mocking. Now, child, that's not how you treat your elders. You really ought to have better manners. But suddenly I catch a blur of orange from the corner of my eye, and Rita hisses through his teeth. In the midst of the commotion, Rita has crept behind the desk and slided my pipe into her own grasp, a pipe that she just slammed into Rita's knife arm. The knife tumbles out of Rita's grasp and skitters across the floor, and he stumbles to the ground from the impact. Rui doesn't let up. She swings the pipe again, straight into Ryuta's neck. He emits a choke screech, but when he turns in her direction, his pipe soars with uncanny precision. Rui's eyes widen for a fraction of a second, and he slams the metal directly against her forehead. Ooh. I hear the bones of her skull crumble at the force of the impact. I see her eyes empty in a heartbeat. I hear her breath catch quietly, like her very respiratory system didn't want to be a bother. I see her head throw itself back in an unnatural angle, limp splayed like a broken doll. I hear a moment of utter silence. I see her collapse gracelessly against the wall, blood pouring from her head, water from a shattered dam, a haystack, a little carpet, so terrifyingly limp and fragile. My mind is trapped in that moment, rewinding and playing, rewinding again and playing, when my body moves of its own accord. Ryuta, still trying to recover from his crutch windpipe, is instinctively clutching at his throat. Sees Ryu's pipe, and without hesitation, crushed it against his skull. Ryuta crumbles in a lifeless pile. I stand there for a moment frozen. Blood, Ryu's mixed with Ryuta's, oozes down the length of the pipe, collecting in a gentle ellipse of crimson on the floor. Silence, save for my breathing, heavy and fast. The two students only stare at me with widened eyes and teary faces. Blood, vomit, pus, saliva mixed in a toxic concentration, polluting the air. The pipe slips my fingers and clatters surely against the ground. I'm shaken. It's like the joints of my very bones are knocking against each other, driving the breath from my body, trembling like a leaf in the wind. Slowly I draw to her side and kneel to her. My injured leg screams in protest, but even the pain seems eerily distant. The knees of my trousers meet blood. They soak it up without protest. I cradle my hands around Rui's face and stare at them, refusing to look at her disfigured face. Rui, it's gone. I give her a gentle squeeze. She's still warm. She's still warm. Rui. It should have been a stab wound. She should have hit his pipe arm, and he should have stabbed her. The hospital can mend a stab wound, but a crushed skull, an instantaneous death. Hey, I'm supposed to tell you something. You can't leave me when I'm still talking. She is still and silent. Fatal blows aren't supposed to be so quick. There's supposed to be at least a moment, a grace period, to share a single word, a look, a touch. I'm sorry, I would have said. It's okay, she would have said, or if she couldn't forgive me, then I'd like it, dummy. My hands glide up to her shoulders and gently shake her back and forth. I feel droplets of blood flick on the back of my hands. Rui, hey, wake up. Rui, the police are coming. Rui. No, this can't. She can't. It's supposed to be okay. It wasn't supposed to end like this. Rui, it's cold. Why is it so cold? Rui, don't leave. Don't leave me. I don't have anyone left. Blood pouring through her head. I clearly missed a lot. Oh yeah. Well, this is a bad end, I think. Bad end, yeah. Okay. Load. So I pushed him too far. Let me see, I want to get the good end. Okay. That's certainly a positive outlook. Where was I then? Okay. So I have to hit the girl. In a situation like this, it seems like the only option is to go with the flow. I automatically step forward, knuckles turning white as I raise the pipe. Shigeru said she would bring the police. Shigeru needs me to buy time. Buying time means abiding by the game, drawing it out, pain without mercy, conscious damage. Yama, please. Close your eyes. The voice that comes from my mouth is cold and blank, nothing like my own. I keep my eyes open as I swing the pipe down, knowing that I'd only endanger the girl further if I close them. I see the pipe descend. Just like give her a little tap. I see the girl's eyes widen. I see... Oh. The vibration rocks from the tip of the pipe up through my arms to my eyes, which rattle in their sockets. I feel the impact of her arm giving way beneath my own hands. Something in me, something I hadn't known was there, slinks away into the shadows, gone forever. The girl gasped for breath as her brother burst into tears. No. Brother and sister, doomed to die. I step back, hand shaking uncontrollably. Ryuta only throws back his head and laughs. Oh yes, that's it. I was worried for a moment, thinking that you'd pansy out. But you mean business right now, don't you? There must be something, some other way, some advantage, something that doesn't involve this. I still myself, keeping my eyes fixed on the girl before me. Faking shock? Maybe. Can't say that I'm really faking. Meanwhile, I let my mind cast about the room, mentally recalling every sensory memory that is shelved away as I entered the classroom, searching for some miraculous solution. The door sprung open beneath my touch as I stepped into the classroom, my figure enveloped in the nighttime gloom. Ryuta stormed in behind me, leaving every footstep vibrate, or letting every footstep vibrate through the floor, up the doorframe, into the foundations of the building itself. He was enjoying himself, maybe a little too much. I don't understand why no one can hear kids screaming and stuff. I didn't think soundproofing in schools, classrooms, was that bad, or that good, I mean. He was waiting for this moment, I think. The student that he'd carved to pieces might have pleased him temporarily, but this night, this would be his magnum opus, and he'd want to relive it 1,000 times over. He grinned with confidence as he cupped his hands around his mouth. And the delinquent arrives at last. I shuffled further into the room, squinting into the darkness of the furthest corners, my breath shallow and palms sweaty. In the meantime, Ryuta pushed up his sleeves and tossed his keys and phone on top of his desk. That was when I saw Rui. Wait. Tossed his keys and phone on top of his desk. There was one thing that I'd overlooked, the mole and the police. No matter how quickly and secretly Shigure might act, there's still a high chance that she'll be found out. After all, it only took a few minutes for that mole to relay that news to Ryuta. This time shouldn't be any different. Any time now, a phone call could warn Ryuta, letting him, or tell him to get away, and that could be the end. It doesn't matter if I manage to distract him with this game. It's not like he'll ignore a phone call from his accomplice. In that case, I need to get rid of that phone. I have a pipe in my hands, just a step away from the desk. The main problem is breaking without Ray to notice him. If he does notice, he won't think that I'm knowingly sabotaging him. Hello, Toyama Ishimoto. What is this, a little too much for you? My voice catches and squeaks, which makes me sound exceedingly helpless. That's a good thing. Just pound on the desk and act like you went crazy. Ryuta giggles quietly, but his eyes are narrowed. This must be a little rough, Do you feel like you're hitting your poor sister? Oh, don't worry, she's already dead, you know that. I grip the pipe tighter, my knuckles whitening with pressure. The rough edges of the metal start to cut into the palm of my hand. I welcome the anger, the panic, the helplessness, the swirling through my blood, gathering it into one tangled ball of black emotion. It must still be sour for you, kid, no? Would you rather hit the little boy? Shut up. Yama, please, don't listen to him. Come to think of it, maybe you'd have some fun if you had the boy. You'd finally get an outlet for all that self-hatred. Yama, he's just trying to get to you. You can fight it. Shut up, you bitch. With frightening speed, he bounds across the classroom and seizes Rui by the hair, yanking backward until her neck is at an unnatural angle. You know, I liked you at first, but now you're just a little yapping dog. I should slit your throat right now. Feed your esophagus to the brat over there. He gestures to the boy who's fastened to the chair. Rui makes an instinctive whimper deep in her throat. Do we have an understanding? Yes. Do we have an understanding, you blathering whore? Whoa! Yes. Something locks in my brain and all my emotions drains away until I feel like an empty automaton. You shouldn't have touched her. My vision blurs with rage as I raise a pipe with both hands, my arm shaking. Cold, everything feels so cold. The edges of my lips pull into an unbidden smile as a fleeing vision passes before my eyes, Ryuta's body, battered and broken at my feet, waiting for me to make an imprint. Did I make a mistake, maybe? I seize the vision, even as a deeper part of my mind shrinks away in horror. I let it control me. You shouldn't have touched Ryu Hayata. I slam the pipe down with as much force as possible. The metal pulses against the floor with an ear-splitting crack. Splinters of something white and shiny shoot away from the point of impact like a spray of bullets. The boy and the girl shrink back in their chairs, staring at me with wide eyes. It's relevant. Get away from her. I let my voice increase in volume. I let it shake. I let it steep with madness and fury. Ryuta steps back inadvertently, not out of fear, but out of surprise. He almost seems pleased with my transformation. I lunge forward, my voice exploding surely out of my throat. Get away from her or I'll kill you. I start swinging the pipe madly like an imbalanced marionette on a string, letting the end swivel into a desk, chairs, walls, anything. I rush at Ryuta, but he nimbly weaves between the desks and tightens a grip on his own pipe. My pipe passes within an inch of Rui's face as I whirl around, bowling into Ryuta's direction, towards the desk. I vaguely register a look of open horror from Rui, but I flick it away from my mind like a gnat. I lunge at Ryuta with a full force blow swinging down, letting out a vicious scream. And just as I was hoping, Ryuta is startled by my sudden burst of energy and instinctively dodges to the side instead of blocking my blow. My pipe slices down and splits the polished surface of the teacher's desk, sending shards of wood flying. The impact rattles up my arm into my skull, but most importantly, I've hit Ryuta's phone dead center, shatters into the new pile of rubble, the resulting crackle masked by the destruction. I don't dare to take a pause. I can't celebrate the small victory. Instead, I let my anger fester and I take hold of the pipe in my hands. Did you see the save screen? For about 15. Oh. No? What the heck? I wonder what's wrong. Okay, might have to stop my stream and then start it again. Okay, and I just redid the game, so the video will be attached to the audio. So there's one part there that didn't quite sync up, as you could see, but yeah, so it's all good now. And then the next part, when I stop my stream and start it again, when you go to watch that part, it's fine. So perfect. I just wanted to have that little message at the end. So there we go.